Croft. With the release of Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light in 2010, Crystal Dynamics essentially created two brands in the universe. So we have the Tomb Raider brand, which is the AAA narrative-driven core releases, and then we have the Lara Croft brand, which is a really fun way to to have nostalgia in the franchise again. We've seen that in Guardian of Light, Temple of Osiris, and now Lara Croft Relic Run, which is what we're here to talk about today. And that's a free-to-play adventure runner on iOS, Android, and Windows mobile devices. So Relic Run launched in late May, and it was developed in partnership between Square Enix and American indie game studio Simitronics. And here to chat with me today is game producer Laura
Not
Carter. And we joke about this because I'm so used, I've trained myself to never say Laura anymore, and I always say Lara. And she has the first and last name of two characters in our game. The two characters are Lara and Carter Bell, and so there we go. It's made to be.
It obviously is, yeah. I think it's obligatory to get, close to the brand.
Have the name fit. All right, well, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So before we jump into into some questions and so on, we're going to take a look at the launch trailer for anybody who hasn't had a chance to see Relic Run. Let's take a look at it. That's a lot of fun and a lot of action, obviously. So let's start with the genre when we're talking about the game. It's a fairly well-explored genre on mobile, the infinite runner genre. So what about Lara Croft Relic Run is, the unique aspects of it?
So we really see Lara Croft Relic Run as like an endless runner evolved. There are some similarities with endless runners, but they kind of pretty much end with the basic avoiding of obstacles, the sliding, running, jumping. That's kind of where the similarities end, because we're sort of packing in tons and tons of additional features as well. So as you saw from the gameplay trailer there, we showed some footage from two different locations. So normally an endless run is based in like one detailed environment, but we've actually got two, which is almost like two games in its own right, and we've got a third location on the way. Those locations are incredibly detailed and beautiful and stunning, and within them we've got bespoke vehicles with seamless action transitions between running, swinging on vines, amazing parkour movements as well. There's also within the locations these epic boss battles. So you might have noticed in the trailer as well the T-Rex encounter, which is awesome.
And we're playing the B-roll too, so you'll be able to see some of the stuff that we're talking about as we go.
Yeah,
including
there's actually
the curse, which we should mention.
Yes, that's the one. There's a real exclusive feature that we've got in the game, which is called the curse system. It's actually a multiplayer feature. So when that comes up on screen, we'll talk a bit more detail.
There's nothing wrong with your screen. It means that a friend is trying to ruin your run when they send you a curse. But we'll touch on that in a bit. So what's the story of this adventure? What's Lara looking for?
So the game is set just shortly after the events of Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. And Lara starts out in the Jungle Temple location, where she's basically looking for her archaeologist friend Carter, who has mysteriously disappeared. So she's kind of initially on search for him and trying to kind of unravel his disappearance. You do that through collecting the relics, basically, and clues throughout the game. And every time you collect one of those, it unlocks a little bit of story progression and narratives. You start to learn what's happened to him, and along the way you might unravel a little bit more than Lara bargained for. Yeah,
the relics are what gets me. Every time I'm playing, and if I know that I'm close to getting a relic, it's like I can't quit until I get it. I have to get it, and then I can put it down for a little bit, and then come back to it.
But it's the pressure as well when you see the relic coming. You're like, don't miss the relic, don't miss the
relic.
Don't
mess up, don't overshoot it, which I have done. I've just like, jumped right over it before.
I've done that.
Like, no. All right, so there's a lot to unlock in the game, and while the game does offer in-app purchases, you can unlock outfits, weapons, upgrades, and so on with coins and gems that you can get organically throughout the game. So can you speak to how that currency system works? There is the options to purchase things, but you can also earn it through your mastery of the game.
Yeah, so everything within the game is completely free to unlock and access. As you mentioned, if you do want to kind of get everything on demand right away, there is the opportunity to use in-app purchase to kind of unlock everything. But otherwise, you can earn these gems and coins through completing runs, basically, and also through unlocking achievements.
Yep.
The better that you do, the further that you run, the higher that your multiplier. There's a few elements that help increase your score, and therefore you earn more coins and gems. So that's your kind of incentive to actually to get further in the game.
So we touched on this one briefly, but what do you think are the core elements that are going to resonate with Lara Croft fans? I know the T-Rex is just something that obviously, but what other things do you think are that nostalgia factor?
Yeah, so we knew that the game we really wanted to focus on that nostalgic version of Lara Croft, so that we could really focus on fun. Have all the different costumes, have the big boss encounters, which the community are really responding well to. Like, it's just not expected when you first come across. You don't see that kind of thing in Endless Runners. Also, we've got the vehicles as well, which are all a kind of nod back to the original vehicles that you'll have seen in the early Tomb Raider games. So the ATV from the Jungle Temple location is actually from the Tomb Raider 3.
Yeah, and obviously the dual pistols. That's a good one too. You see that during the
signature
combat
weapon.
Although you can change weapons, which we can also talk about a bit. But
sure.
So the 2 levels that are currently available, you touched on these, but you want to go a little bit more in depth into how they differ?
So start off in this Jungle Temple location. It's an incredibly rich and detailed, lush, kind of tropical location. As you can see here, Lara's kind of swinging on vines. She's really at one with her location here. And, she does these incredible sort of swan dives through massive caverns. The location is kind of collapsing around her, and it's a really exciting location to start the game off in. The second is completely different and offers something requires different tactics and strategies as well in order to progress. It's much more about elaborate traps and things like that, or booby traps that Lara has to try and avoid. And it's a step up in terms of difficulty. So we're not just kind of reskinning the first location. We really want to incentivize players and give them something and a reason to keep playing and progressing throughout the game.
Yeah. I will absolutely attest to it being more difficult.
It's more
difficult. I feel like I finally
yeah.
mastered this one, and then I move on to the next level. I'm like, oh man, I have to relearn how to play this game. It's harder, but it's a great challenge.
It's beautiful as well. I love the way it's kind of got this beautiful golden lit. It's Sahara desert based, so
they have very different
visually
palettes.
looks very different. Yeah.
And the music is great in both of them too. So that's another fun feature of it. All right, so let's detail some of the weapons that I mentioned. What's your favorite and why? How do they differ?
My favorite is actually the dual pistols that come pre-equipped, just because I'm a big Lara Croft fan, and it's a signature weapon. You can also upgrade that as well. So even though it's the weapon she starts out with, you can keep progressing it and building it and making it more powerful. And it also affects your score multiplier the more that you upgrade it. I also love the SMGs. They're like the rapid fire kind of semi-automatic weapon. So if you want to be able to kind of really shoot at speed against the combat sequences, then that really helps out, because the combat sequences are quite tricky in places.
And
they get harder and harder.
Especially if you want to get the bad guys and those coin caches, which I have to start prioritizing the enemies, because I'm just like, ooh, gold, and then I die because I did not stop the projectile flying at me.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing as well is that the spray is a bit wider with that one, so you don't have to be quite as accurate. But they're not as powerful. So it kind of depends on your play style, what weapon you want to use. Some people really love like the assault rifle. You have to be much more specific and more accurate with that one. But it's more powerful. So
these are the ones right here that you're talking about, right?
Yes, that's the SMGs, and now she's just switched back to her dual pistols,
Awesome. All right, so outfits in the game offer gameplay perks rather than just being simple cosmetic unlocks, which just as a cosmetic standpoint, they're quite cool, and I feel like they harken back to classic Tomb Raider quite nicely. Can you go into detail about the outfits and the perks?
Sure. So, I mean, we knew that we had to have Lara Croft costumes. That was a no-brainer. But we wanted to offer real value to players. We wanted them to have a reason to try and unlock them, other than to make Lara look even more awesome than she already does. So, for example, the stealth suit. Here we go.
There we go.
We're timing up perfectly. The stealth suit is one that actually helps you withstand enemy fire.
Okay.
So I kind of find that the combat sequences are more trickier for me, so I like to equip that outfit, and it means that I can survive those sequences a little bit better. This one right here, actually, I think we put on, was this the biker outfit?
No, this is the jacket. So this is the one that helps with the relics, correct?
Right. Yeah. So this will help spawn relics more quickly. Here we have the curse.
Oh, this is the worst. This is the VCR is the hardest one, I think.
This is that's why we put it on there. It's really, really tough. As you can see, the screen's kind of jolting and flickering, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. You don't know it when it's about to appear. So yeah, this is actually my favorite feature within the game. Maybe I'm a bit evil. I like to sabotage.
I like them too, but I have to point out, and I'm going to talk to all my Facebook friends who do this. I have a lot of Facebook friends in the Tomb Raider community because we're all a tight-knit community.
Yeah.
So every time I load up the game, I'm usually cursed for the first 15 rounds.
Oh, wow,
because they all target
unfair.
me. But it's fine because I'm getting better at surviving them, and then I get my gold cash for beating them.
Exactly. So actually, it could be counterproductive for the person that sent it to you, because
they're giving me money.
Yeah.
They're giving me gold.
So, but the way it works, just to explain it a bit better, obviously you're very familiar, but for the people watching, if you survive the curse, then you actually get rewarded. But if the person who sent the curse manages to end your run, then they get rewarded. So there's a real sense of satisfaction if you manage to survive it, or if you manage to successfully curse them. And then you can get revenge by cursing them back. So it's quite a petty feature, but one that we like.
So the curses are also very different. So that the VCR one is one that I find really difficult, but there's other ones that's like Neon Nights. That one just changes everything to look like this bright neon sign. Or I really like the 8-bit one. And it makes everything look like pixel art, and then it even like changes the sound effects a little bit. It sounds kind of chiptune-y, which I think is pretty neat. Those are cool. Yeah,
then we've got 6 to choose from in there, and we'll be looking to add more curses in later as well.
Tunnel Vision.
Yeah, you know them all.
I told you I get cursed a lot, but that's okay. All right, so we were talking about outfits. We were looking at them before we saw the curse. So it was the bomber jacket, and then the biker one is the third one, right?
Yes, so that's really good if you're trying to really go for high score. So what happens is every time, if you have that one equipped and then you are handling a vehicle, your score multiplier will be much higher, basically. So you can really ramp up that high score.
Great, so it all caters to your style of play.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, so I was next going to ask you about the curse system, but we have covered that, so we will skip ahead. Yeah. Another thing I really like are the achievements. They're a great inclusion in the game. So in terms of reasons to replay, and some of them are actually quite difficult to get, or just fun. You don't even know that you were going for it. Like you study the list, like hole in one. I love that one. So can you detail some of your favorites?
Actually, the hole in one is my favorite.
Yeah.
It requires you to land Lara in a kind of sort of upturned chandelier in the second location, which is kind of funny. There's some, as you say, that are really, really tough as well, though. I think there's one called Pendulanium, and you have to basically go through these triple pendulum blades without sliding, jumping, or avoiding them in any way. So it's purely about kind of lining Lara up at the exact right place ahead of time, and then kind of hoping for the best. It's really, really tough. I think I'm still yet to actually
I've tried it a couple times, and I always panic at the last second and just slide.
Same with the relics. We're obviously we're like,
too much pressure. Yeah, no, that's one of my favorites. And what I also like is that on Windows Phone, the achievements are actually compatible with Xbox achievements, which is fun.
Yes, that's right. And there's a cross. It's seamless across all the different platforms. So with the curse system that we mentioned earlier on as well, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, you can just seamlessly send those things across.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a couple more questions. Looking to the future, what new content and features can we look forward to in the future for Lara Croft Relic Run?
So at the moment we're hard at work actually working on the third location, which is called Mountain Pass. It's going to be totally different and unique from the first 2 locations. Again, not another kind of reskin, totally different obstacles to avoid, brand new enemies, and also in terms of look and feel, it's going to offer something very, very different from the first 2 locations. We'll have a brand new vehicle as well for Lara to get to grips with, which is going to be awesome.
I love that.
New enemies, and of course a brand new boss.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So when we have more information on that, we will be sure to share it on all of our channels. I know people are anticipating it, but we've got to get the team is hard at work on it. So
yes, we want it to be a surprise for you guys as well. But I guess I can give a little hint that you might recognize some elements from Tomb Raider 2.
I think that's enough of a hint. I think people will figure that out, which I'm excited about. All right, so looking at today's global leaderboards, one of the top scorers is I mean, they're over 10 million points.
Yeah.
That's quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's so
Yes.
much better than what any of us who've been
Yeah.
playing the game for like months upon months. Like, I don't know how they do
There are
it.
people out there that are they just get it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So what will you say are your top tips for getting these kind of scores? What are things people can do to improve?
In terms of getting high scores, I think the main thing really is keeping your multiplier really high.
Yep.
And the way that you do that is through kind of collecting the coin trails.
Yep.
So when you see trails of coins coming up, like try not to miss any. So if you see a relic coming, if your purpose is all about score, then go for the coin trails. If your purpose is to unlock location 2, for example, then it's all about collecting relics. So again, it kind of depends on what you're trying to achieve in the game. But yeah, if you miss anything in the game, like the coins, for example, your score multiplier will start to drop. So that's one of the main things. I would also recommend to purchase one of the premium outfits. So, you know, we mentioned earlier on, for example, the biker outfit where it keeps your multiplier much higher when you're handling vehicles. So that's a really good one. And then to sort of max it out as well. And then you'll just be like flying.
Yeah. Great.
There's also a little kind of secret insider tip, which is that if you spot any kind of debris in the environment, like bones and skulls, like don't feel too rude if you like run straight through them, because actually it gives you a little kind of multiplier boost by doing that.
All right, that's a good thing.
Bit
to
of an
look forward
unexpected
to.
one.
Good, awesome. And lastly, so the game launched a few weeks ago. So can you give us some fun stats on how the community is performing?
Yeah, sure. So I've got some things written down here because these numbers are pretty epic. We have got a total of 36 billion meters run overall so far in the last like 3 weeks.
That's incredible.
Which is amazing, which equates to over 900 times around the world.
That's pretty impressive.
So
guys.
yeah, Lara's been busy.
She's been busy. She's worn through a lot of boots in that period of time, I would
She's
expect.
got good stamina.
Yeah.
We've had 85 million enemies that have been killed, and 80 billion coins collected. So yeah, game's doing well.
Good.
We're
to
really
hear.
happy.
The community is hard at work. Fantastic. All right, so that's all we have today for for Relic Run. Thank you so much for being here with me. Now we have one more teaser before we go, however. Before we end the segment of Square Enix Presents, we're going to take another look at a different mobile title from the Lara Croft universe. It's called Lara Croft Go. It was actually just announced yesterday at the Square Enix press briefing. It's the second installment in the successful Go franchise, which was developed by the really talented crew up at Square Enix Montreal. And it follows after Hitman Go, which was a very well-received and acclaimed game. So it's a single-player, isometric, turn-based puzzle game, which it's set in this just absolutely gorgeous environment, really distinct environments, wonderful music. So while Relic Run is about the sort of non-stop adrenaline and so on, Lara Croft Go is about this perfect puzzle game experience where you're looking for those nostalgic brain teasers. It's all about testing your puzzle skills. So let's take a look at the teaser trailer on our way out so you can see firsthand what we mean when we say beautiful environments and music and so on. So we'll go out on that, and until next time.
Thanks, guys.